Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Theodore, and it's an honor to be here with you today. So, guys, I have a few extra things to say about this new moon in Gemini. Because, yes, it is extremely auspicious. This entire week is very auspicious. I feel this entire week, like I've said many times, is a very positive point in the Gemini story of our life that involves loving communication, connection, starting new things and pursuing new things, or putting yourself in positions where new bits of information and communications can, find their way to you. I could already say for myself that just based upon living and being open, and being receptive of Gemini energy and really like keeping it conscious, there have been things that have been coming to me, whether I'm researching something online or, whatever the case may be, and things are just appearing in my life and I'm just sort of seeing them for what they are, seeing the synchronicity for what it is, and, paying attention. Now, there are some things I would like to say that are a little bit more, I don't want to say serious, but I want to say that there are other aspects in the sky that maybe I haven't been touching on as deeply as just focusing on, the hyper positivity and just the potential for such good stuff to come from the Gemini story while this is all going on. But of course, guys, I know everyone has their own life and their karmas and just whatever their fate, everyone's got a different birth chart and everyone's got different stuff going on. So I know Gemini could be a very overwhelming, overstimulating, and potentially even not so good of a time. But those are lessons for people who are going through a bit of a tougher Gemini story transit, I guess you can say, or, just a Gemini moment. It's a good time for maybe some people to learn how to calm down and to kind of talk themselves off the ledge, because Gemini energy, if it goes too far and too crazy, can make us very out of balance, but some of us are using this to our advantage. A lot of people, I feel, are tuned in mentally and dialed in and just really ready for all of what this is kind of bringing to many of us this week. But there are some things that are on the more serious side that are a little bit more, things that I don't really see a lot of astrologers talking about, honestly, on YouTube, at least, that I've done some scrolling around, because there are these sextiles from Aries that are hitting Gemini by sign. And then later after the new moon, we will have a lot of those, like the North Node, Chiron, and even Mars influence, kind of what the new moon story will, follow up. And then we have Saturn making squares and Neptune making a square to the moon. And then, of course, as the sun and Venus approaches the end of Gemini, Neptune's influence will then be there front and center. So those are the couple of things I just want to briefly touch on today, because I feel no one's talking about that maybe in the way that I would like to just present it very quickly to you. Because I do feel it can influence some of the things that we are dealing with the Gemini story, with this new moon. And if we can understand this, I think we can use it and be wary and cautious and, just be ready for maybe some things to arise so we know how to react, because that's sort of the beauty, in my opinion, of shamanic astrological magic is, and then basically any other form, of how we dissect our psyche in reference to, things that might occur via the transits. But knowing how to react to something that we may anticipate energetically to come is really the make or break situation, or make or break moment between, going down one road versus going down another road. Now, before I continue, guys, I just would like to say that if you are new, please consider subscribing to the channel. Whoever you are listening to this video, watching this video, please leave me a comment, like the video. That stuff really helps the algorithm, guys. And, my channel could definitely use a boost for sure. Also, if you're interested in any of my offerings, readings, I have discounted rates for the summer. Please go to my website. Link is down below. And also, I have 3 pre-recorded classes on my Patreon. You do not need to be a member of Patreon to purchase, classes, especially from teachers and stuff. So they have this brand new function on Patreon where you can just click the links I have down below and it takes you to like this storefront thing, and you can easily just purchase and and stream whenever you want. So I'm really starting to build like a class library there, and I have a course coming soon which I'm really excited about. And yeah, if you do want to become a Patreon, there are options, and I'm still trying to figure out the best way to go about membership stuff. But one of my tiers, one of my elevated tiers is if once we get 15 members, I will host a live Q&A every month. So just stuff to consider. But yeah, guys, I just want to say, look at the chart on the screen right now. This is sort of just the 2 days after the new moon. So this is for Friday. And we still have a Venus Cazimi, guys. So this influence of the Venus Cazimi is so sustained, which I just find to be such a it's still very auspicious. There are still a lot of amazing connective energies in the air, right? And I've made examples for anyone falling in love or meeting someone. But again, like when I say love or falling in love and connecting to things you love, it doesn't necessarily mean people. It just means anything that has to do with the mind. So, we can, meet someone and then all of a sudden our mind is the first thing that's activated. We're learning about an individual, we're learning about something or whatever the case. And then it hits our emotional system. We register it as beauty, or we register it as something we are feeling, something deep within, that can be very beautiful. And that is something that is sustaining throughout this entire new moon process. But if you look at this chart, as the new moon concludes at 17 degrees, we get to 18 degrees, 19 degrees as we continue moving forward. The moon at this 29th degree, though, is being influenced by Neptune. And then by Thursday, it's being influenced by Saturn. So right after this new moon, Saturn will be squaring. And technically, Saturn is squaring the entire sign of Gemini to a degree, but it really is going to influence the new moon as the new moon starts concluding itself, which means that Saturn's influence on structure and making sure things are a little bit stable is kind of, something that will be, kind of lingering either in the background or maybe even full-fledged conscious in your mind. So Saturn, in a positive sense with that square, might be, grounding this, whatever might be arising for this new beginning or these seeds you want to plant. Saturn might give you, some intuition like, okay, well, I need to find out the best way to work with this energy. And since Pisces is very, creative, and fluid, I think when we're dealing with a Venus new moon and this Venus sun energy, there's a lot of, even though it's a square, I still think that they kind of have a good relationship to each other because of the Pisces energy. But still, some of us may not want to be stunted by Saturn energy during a lot of this heightened air. So that's something that's going on. And I definitely mentioned that in one of my other videos. I definitely mentioned that. And then we also have Mars influencing, at the same time via sextile. So Mars, I think, is just adding more, I think Mars is just going to be adding more action, more intention and more, energy of wanting to pursue this stuff, wanting to, get this off the ground, and I think the Martian energy there is beneficial. So, I don't know if I've been talking about the Mars influence on Gemini, but by sign, Mars is influencing Gemini. And so is the North Node in Chiron, of course. And as the moon and as the sun and Venus move further and further into Gemini, we'll have the Chiron story influence this. And at the moment that I'm recording this, and even the last couple of days, something else that occurred to me is the North Node is also sextiling. So, no one is talking about that, because I don't think many astrologers take the transiting north nodes as serious as they should, unless there's like a big conjunction, or for example the eclipse was happening right over around that time. But it's very much connected, and the way that I'm intuitively picking this up on is a lot of the stuff that happened in Aries the last couple of months, because this sextile is hitting Gemini. I feel there could be aspects of your Aryan solar eclipse story that can be linked to how the Gemini energy and the Gemini part of your life can, be elevated and activated with that too. So part of me believes that because there's a sextile involved, that whatever this new moon story is for you, whatever these seeds are that you're planting, whatever is coming into your life that you might be interacting with, or, it might be coming to you, even if they're ideas, there is a destiny here. There is a destiny for that. So this is still very auspicious, because I do feel whatever you might start, whatever might be influencing you, whatever might inspire you intellectually, whatever you might be involved in, I think has its place that could potentially be long lasting into your future. And I think the Aries North Node energy wants to support that, saying, hey, this is something you can do. Believe in yourself, take action in the things you are desiring, the things that you're feeling very connected with. If this is something that you feel could be long lasting, or something that is not so superficial, because we still have to worry about the superficialness of Gemini energy and what's going on here. But again, sometimes we need to get involved in a very fast Gemini way. We have to just put ourselves out there in order to see if something could be long lasting, if something could work. So this is definitely a time to be fearless. This is definitely a time to not be shy. This is definitely a time to just do it. And Mars's influence there as well is just adding more of that. Yeah, like there's a lot of magic to be worked with here, and just see where it goes. Just see where it goes. And I think the Chiron story, for whatever the healing element of your Aryan, your Aryan aspect of your life is, this could help whatever that's all about. I don't want to say for sure Chiron sextile is like anything super profound, but I do want to say that Chiron is adding some healing. It's adding some, how do I want to put this? It's adding some deeper understanding on an emotional level to something that might be occurring during all of this Gemini stuff. So I like how Chiron is giving a sextile, because I feel like it's going to hit different. I think some of the stuff we might deal with that's so Gemini might kind of penetrate, so I do feel this is a deeper Gemini. We have Jupiter in the mix too, guys. So Gemini is getting a heavy dose of stuff that's like meaningful, like really meaningful. And I'm not saying Geminis don't have meaningful experiences or meaningful connections, but sometimes it depends like how often that occurs. It usually could take a lot sometimes for a Gemini moon, for example, to get out of their head and into their heart or into their emotions. And I think there's a lot of emotion involved with all this Gemini stuff. That's why I think it's so beautiful, But to conclude this small talk today, Neptune's influence on the moon on Friday, and I don't usually talk about specific moon transits because the moon goes so fast, and I don't usually bother, because my talks, I hope to just sort of hit deeper notes. But as this new moon concludes, because we're dealing with a new moon, and now the moon is at 29 degrees in this chart that I'm showing you, this is a square from Neptune. So what I want you to consider for this Friday, and then as the sun and as Neptune and as Venus head towards that 29th degree in the next, week or so, I want you to consider that there could be some potential moments where you might need to reflect on if anything might be causing you doubt and confusion. Because I feel it's natural sometimes to get so elevated and so excited or so connected and inspired and, whatever the case may be. there could always be like, that human, you know, inclination to doubt ourselves or to question ourselves and to question certain things around us. Or if you just met someone, let's say you're really hitting it off with someone, or whatever the case may be. This could be like, that questioning and that like, is this real? Like, is this love real? Is this connection real? Like, should I really be doing this? Is it too good to be true? And you might start clouding, there could be just some clouds that start to come in, over your sun. So I just want you to be aware of that Neptune's influence might even bring in something totally different into your life. Something else might just come into your life that might throw you off, maybe provide a little confusion. It might not make you understand something, and I just want you to be aware of that and to kind of just wait. If any of that stuff arises, I would say keep going with whatever intentions you're involved in, unless something really comes along that, I think provides you with a proper reason to question some things that are confusing you. Then I would say pump the brakes a little bit, just pump the brakes and wait till, the moon gets into Cancer, wait till Venus gets into Cancer, and then Mercury will soon follow that. And I think once Mercury and the sun gets into Cancer and Neptune's influence and squares on the tail end of Gemini with all those transits as they're about to get into Cancer, things will make more sense. Things will settle down, and I think things are going to integrate into your emotional system from all of the Gemini stories that are accumulating in your life. So again, I just want you to be weary of Neptune's potential to cause you a little confusion, a little doubt, and anything that might confuse you or go a little sideways, because Neptune is so activated. And there's a lot of videos I actually want to do on Neptune, just generally speaking, because Neptune has really disrupted and innovated our world in the last, I don't know how many years it's been in Neptune for, like well over 10, I guess now, or about 10 years ish. So Neptune is no joke, and it's at the anaretic degree, and it's going to retrograde. Then it's going to go into Aries next year. Then it's going to retrograde back, and then it's going to be in Aries full time. So there's so much that Neptune is going to do to change the world. But it is influencing a lot right now because it is at its anaretic degree, and it is so close to going into Aries, guys. It's so close. I mean, if you look at it, it's 29 degrees at 45. That's extremely close to an ingress. So this is no joke. And when it comes to the end of this Gemini new moon and this Gemini stellium and this massive shift in energy from the winter and the spring, it's just something I want you to be aware of. So again, we have Saturn square, which will provide some stability, but that Piscean energy with Saturn, I think, is sometimes very positive. It's like it's like an anchor that kind of just keeps some things solid, throughout the storm of Gemini. And the storm can be good, a good storm, because we need that mental stimulation and those moments in life where we really connect and just go for stuff and want to learn and want to pursue. But Neptune square, as this concludes, is something just to be aware of, and work with it. Talk to Neptune, speak to Neptune, and say, you know what? If I need to take a break, if I need to just meditate and contemplate a little further on what's going on, Cancer season is very close. It's only a couple of weeks away. Once Venus, Mercury, and the Sun get into Cancer, then I think things are going to make more sense. You will understand if what's going on in Gemini is emotionally like, okay, this is making sense now. I feel emotionally solid here. And that's the most important thing. So this Cancer shift, I think, is really important. It's very important. And then again, I think the Mars and Chiron and North Node sextiles that are happening throughout all of this, I think are, just for me, they're just saying, hey, these are like destiny points, because Aries was so activated with the eclipse, the Chiron story, the fact that Chiron is, we're dealing with an identity here. So there is a link to things that are, very self-oriented. So there is a very deep transformation, I feel, involved with whatever the Gemini birthing is here. So yeah, guys, that's really all I want to say today. I could ramble on, you know me, but yeah, I just wanted to provide those extra insights because I think they're important. And for me, as a shamanic astrologer, I think knowing how we can work with all of this energy and these planets and these transits on a more deeper, psychic level is, to me, it's very important. We don't have to obsess about astrology. I honestly don't think we should obsess about astrology. I think, we should use it. It's a tool. It's a science. Yes, it is some profound mystical divination map for our soul's journey, our spirit's journey. And, but I also think it's not healthy to completely obsess about it, because sometimes we need to use it. We use it as a map. We know where we're going to travel to. We know where we want to go, but then you have to just let go, and just allow life to reveal itself. Let astrology work through you, because astrology is working through you. It's not like out there. It is working through us and through the web of the divine matrix, right? That's why when I said at the beginning of the video, there's just things that are arising in my reality. I'm not trying to do anything. There's things that I'm not even trying to manifest or allow to come into my life. It's just like I do like one scroll on the internet and something pops up and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I need to learn more about that. Oh, I can use that in my work maybe in a month from now. And it's like very Gemini, just things zimming in, like zip files just shooting in, So sometimes you just got to let go, like take in what I said, meditate yourself, and, put the work in, of course, if you have things you need to work on or want to pursue, or if you're meeting people or trying to reach out to others or starting something, whatever, go for it. But don't obsess, because Gemini can definitely obsess, guys. It definitely can obsess. All right, everyone. Well, that's all I have for you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, check out all my stuff in the description box if you want to connect with me or support me. And yeah, I will see you all very soon. Sending you so much love.